We're gonna be installing the DNR 1007 XR. It's the big 10.1 inch Kenwood. To get that in the dash, we're gonna need a bunch of pieces. To start with, we're gonna use the mounting kit, the TOYK 9714. Inside the kit are two different bezels depending on the size of the factory radio. To check which one you need, take the factory radio bezel, line it up from behind. We need this one. This is for a different one. As you can see, it just kind of goes through. There are two mounting brackets, left and a right. They have this little arm right here attached to them. That is for a factory pocket. If you're doing something that has a single DIN back chassis, this will lock into place and give you a pocket behind the radio. Ours is a full chassis double DIN. We'll break these off. I also like to sand them flush. When prepping a kit, if you have to put it face side down, make sure you put a cloth or something underneath it so as to not scratch and mar up the kit. Most kits will also indicate what is top and what is bottom. Usually the writing on it, if it's upside down, you know you have it wrong. The side brackets will sometimes have a right and left on them. In this case, they do not. That means we want to compare them with our factory radio by holding them next to it and checking for positioning. This is the driver's side, this is the passenger side. Put a D and a P. When assembling a kit, use a screwdriver, not a drill. This kit comes with two bags of screws, one to mount the radio and one to assemble the kit. With the kit assembled, this is made to slide over the front of our radio. It has a slight wobble left and right. That means we need to loosen these sides back up and press them into the kits. With that done, we should have equal spacing on left and right. Kenwoods need a machined screw, not a coarse thread screw. The coarse thread screws are what comes with the kit. Use the screws that come with the Kenwood radio to attach it into the kit. Check to make sure that the gapping is level across. For some reason, Kenwood only puts 6 screws in the box. They want you to do 3 on each side. Because this is a much heavier radio, I'm gonna remove 2 screws from this because these use the same screws and put them into my kit. That's all there is for the assembly on this right now. Actual 10.1 inch screen is gonna have to go on last once it's into the car because of the way that dash bezel sits over this. This has to screw into the dash bezel snaps into place, the 10.1 inch will go on afterwards. Let's take a closer look at the parts we're gonna be using. We're gonna need an antenna adapter, in this case a BAA44. This has a blue wire off the end of it here. This is if this has an amplified antenna. You would power this up with a blue wire output from the radio and or an accessory wire. To retain the factory USB, we're going to use a USB TY1. It has the factory end on it and then a normal USB on the other to plug into the radio. This particular radio only has one USB input because it has wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. The ST02 is going to allow us to retain the factory GPS antenna, and also if we were going to be doing Sirius XM, it has an adapter for that. It comes with 2 GPS antenna ends, the green style and the gray style. Kenwood uses the gray style. This would be the adapter for retaining Sirius XM. You'd also need the SVX300 add-on tuner. Because we're going with the RR, we'll be adding the RTO2 harness. There's an OBD2 connector. There's 2 add-on harnesses for retaining the backup camera. We will only be using one of them. Then also the main harness. The RR is the smart controller. It is going to talk to the car and give us all those factory features into our Kenwood radio plus a few extras. Inside this you'll find the RR itself, 2 bags of parts. The smaller bag that has the red, yellow, and black in it will have 2 of the cables we need. One, the main data connection, which has a red, black, white, and blue. I like to plug those in right away so as not to lose it. And also the USB for flashing the brain with the software. We'll not be using this power harness because there's one already in this. Inside this bag There is one other harness we may or may need, which is this cable here. It has a 3-pin end on it and an aux jack looking on the other side. Not all Toyotas require this harness. This is for alerts and chimes and factory audio. So I'll set that on top of here for right now. You can put the rest of these harnesses inside the box. We will not be using them. Flash an RR with a Windows or a Mac. It's entirely up to you. You want to go to iDatalink.com and download the WebLink desktop app. That app is going to take you step by step through the process for programming it. It's just a bunch of questions and answers. Select the year, make, and model of your car. This does not have a JBL system. Select without JBL. They're going to show you a picture of your steering wheel control. If this is the one you have in your car, which this is the only one available, select yes. Then you have to enter your radio's brand, model number, and serial number. The serial number is the most important part because it's going to allow this and the radio to talk to one another. If they don't match up, then the unit will not function. If you didn't know what harness you required, at this point it's going to tell you. It'll also tell you what optional harnesses you may need. You can program the steering wheel controls to any features you like, simply by scrolling up and down and picking the green buttons here to match what you'd like it to do. Once you're on the last page, it's going to give you an overview of everything that you've programmed it to do. By simply scrolling up, you can see that. Select flash. Now that the unit is flashed and ready to go, what we're looking for is this information right here, installation guide. That's going to tell us all the harnesses that we need. Select download. The one bummer about this is that it gives you every single Toyota's installation guide, so you have to scroll through to get to yours. A Tacoma without JBL, scroll through to the wiring diagram. This is the data connection harness here that we already have plugged into the brain. The secondary harness we may or may not have needed is not listed. This is where it would be. Down here on the bottom of the page, it's also showing the harnesses out of the box we didn't use. We will need to plug in the OBD2. If you notice here where it says no connection, that is a pigtail that is on the main harness right now, right here, that is connected. We'll be undoing that because our OBD2 is going to plug into it here. Step 2 talks about the reverse camera input. We're going to take both of these into the car and plug in to see which one we need. On the end it has this black connector here, and that is designed to plug into this here, and will complete the connection for us. At the very top it shows these RCAs. This is if you were going to be using the JBL system. That's these two guys right here. We don't have the JBL systems. We'll be cutting these tips off just like it shows in the diagram. It's time to hop into the car and see what plugs we need and don't need. The first two harnesses we have are the reverse. It's the bigger of the two. Next is this white GPS antenna. The GPS antenna runs up the side of the dash here and into the top. Kenwood uses the gray end. Clip that into place. The big fat gray harness here is our USB. That clips into place. Looking at this big white cable here, this is the antenna. We can see it has a small wire here as well as the bigger fat wire. That means this does have some form of an amplified antenna. This blue wire will need to be hooked up. With the big main harness, this plugs in. The smaller is the rear speaker. That harness plugs in. And then the big main data connection also plugs in. With all our connectors in check, it's time to make the harness. If you choose to use the wiring harness the way it is from the factory, on one end here, you'll plug into the brain. This end would be for the auxiliary if you want to retain it. Here are all the wire colors that go off to our aftermarket harness. And then our main plugs that plug into the factory connectors are all here. It's a nice layout. I like to separate mine out a little bit differently. Let's take a look. Main brain is off over here by itself. Here is my OBD2 connection. Power harnesses are all here on the end. The antenna adapter, it makes a nice T shape. My RCA, this is going to plug into the back of the radio. All those wires are funneled. And then this is my speaker connection along with my remote turn on. I have that looped through the harness so that it's all right here on the one end. But this gives me plenty of length, plenty of room to get the actual back chassis in there. Not that I need a lot of space in this room, it's just habit of doing things a specific way.